Hello everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another cross-stitching update video. This is my last update video before House of the Dragon comes out on Sunday. That will be season 2 House of the Dragon on Sunday and I'm super excited. I have been talking about it now I think for a while, and so I decided I would start my update video with 2 Game of Thrones pieces that I am working on, because I had my Game of Thrones piece from Tilton Crafts, which is like the faces of, a lot of the characters from Game of Thrones, and then I ended up having a new start that was just yesterday because it's currently Thursday evening, like in the evening, and I started it yesterday, Wednesday, and so I haven't worked on it a ton, but if you watch that video, you know what my new start was, and I ended up starting a chart called Medina Gate number 2, which is from Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe on YouTube, and that's their name on Etsy. And she is a travel photographer and she has a bunch of photos from places she's traveled to, and she had some photos that are like the real life places where Game of Thrones was filmed, and she took those photos, made them into cross stitch, and then released them in like a little Game of Thrones book, and it's a PDF that you can get on Etsy, and because it's a PDF it works in Pattern Keeper, it works in Markup RXP, which is great because I love, all the apps, all the stitching apps are great, and I have a baby start. So I stitched on it yesterday in the video, my new start video, and then I also stitched on it when I watched an episode of House of the Dragon because I still need to finish watching season 1 over again and finish it before season 2 starts Sunday. So here is where I am, and it's going to be hard to see what I've got done because they're light stitches. So I'm stitching the sky because I started in the top of the chart, so I'm just stitching the sky in rows because I don't like to break up long rows of stitches. So I was going across the top, and then I decided that over at the end of the row there's some like other colors, and so I decided that I would actually just work by row completely. So I did the top row, and then I did the colors that go at the end of the row, and then I'm just parking them, and so I'm going to try doing like stitching row by row and then see how that looks, because I've never really stuck to that for very long because most charts have so many colors that it's really hard to do. But because right now I'm only stitching the one color most of the way through, and then there's only a few colors over here, I'm gonna try seeing how it looks just going and doing it like row by row for right now. We'll see. And this is being stitched on a 16 count gridded fabric, and when you stitch this chart on a 16 count, it ends up being a like normal photo frame size, so it would end up being 8 by 10 so that you can fit it in a standard frame without having to get a custom frame or do anything like that, which means that when I finish this I will actually be able to easily frame it because I have a lot of things that are just sitting around not framed because I don't like looking for frames. That's like my least favorite part. So the other piece I will show is my Game of Thrones chart from Tilton Crafts. It was limited edition and it's not available from them anymore. You might be able to find the image other places. I think I saw that there might have been an Etsy shop previously that used to have it. I don't know if they still do. And I stitched on this a couple days while I was watching House of the Dragons, and I got a little bit done. So here is my progress on this chart. I started this originally stitching it 1/1 full cross, and then I switched it to 2/1 tent stitch in this area here. I actually have a couple videos that I can link where I filmed the process so that you can see the difference of the 1/1 full cross, and then you can see how it looks the 2/1 tent stitch, just to see, was there a huge coverage difference or anything like that. And so yeah, there's videos of that I will have linked. And when I was stitching on it here, I started stitching in this area, which is the background, and I think I'm getting close to like the spikes from the Iron Throne that are in the background. So like there's like the people, but then there's like the Iron Throne sticking up in the back. I think that this here is like a spike. It's kind of hard to tell though. So I think that's what those are going to be. And then I originally was stitching it diagonally, and then I decided to stop just because I have heard that when you are doing tent stitch, there is a higher chance that you might get lines. And so I'm just gonna start just kind of working and just filling in colors and leave the diagonal, which I kind of had left it anyways because when I did Littlefinger, I was like, I have to finish his face. I can't just do part of his face. So I ended up stitching Littlefinger. Last year during House of the Dragon, I was working on the hoops in the way. I was working on Daenerys down here. I think that's who it is. There it is, Daenerys. And then there's Varys over here. So I have people I could work on, and so I kind of am tempted to go back and work on them, but I also know that I need to get the background more filled in. And this is, like I said, I think it's a 28 count, I think, 2/1 10 stitch. So there are my Game of Thrones pieces. I will be working on those as I watch House of the Dragons, which, like I said, I still need to finish season 1, which I'm almost done with it. And then season 2 starts on Sunday. So that will be like my Sunday pieces. I will work on one of those too. And then other things that I will show, I'm trying to find my Whipco piece. So for over the weekend, I was doing a Whipco piece. It is Disneyland Map by Xana Cross Stitch on Etsy. And I needed to do 1,000 stitches, and I knew that I would not meet the goal because this is a 2/1 full cross chart, and full cross is just a little bit slower. And so I knew that I would not get the 1,000 stitches in, but here is my progress on Disneyland Map. And I'm really happy with it because I got quite a bit done on the castle here. And I'm trying to work on the castle and get the castle filled in before I move on to anything else. And I think right around here is going to be the top of a different building because it switched over to being some like brown. So I think this is going to be the top of a different building. And then, right here is, I think, the outline of where the Walt statue is because it was also going to switch to some brown, so I stopped like there. And then also I think this color here, it was the color I was stitching in the castle, but I think when I looked at the mock-up that this is actually some of the ground in front of the castle. So I'm getting close to like getting to the bottom part of the castle. And then I'm just focusing on the blues because then the top part is a lot more pinks and stuff. So I'm just doing the blues first, and then I'll move up to the top of the castle eventually. And I'm loving this. And this is, I think, a 16 or 18 count fabric. And I dyed it myself, and it's 2/1 full cross. So I did that. And then these fabrics are kind of similar. I love purples, so I have a lot of purpley fabrics. I think for this one I ended up adding some like blues and stuff to make it a little bit less than this one because I think I did technically use the same RIT dye. I just added some other colors to this one to change the tone. Plus this is a 16 or 18 count, which takes dye differently than even weave because this is a Lugana, I think. So this is Kita, and I was really excited when I stitched on Kita because you will see. So this is Kita. It's artwork from Hannah Alexander, charted by Pinky the Pink, and I'm trying to get her finished this year. And look at that. Look at, I reached the bottom of this section of blue because the colors that are in this middle portion are kind of worked down in sections where you're doing like a color and then it blends together with a different color and then you're switching like that. So I was just working my way down and I reached the bottom of this section. So this section's done, which means I get to go back over to the center point and then I get to work on this section, which will give me a nice break from the blues, and then after that I'll have to go to this one and do the blues on this section later. But one section is done and I was really excited to reach the bottom. Like there was one night that I was stitching on it and I was getting really close and I technically wanted to change projects, but I was also just like, I am so close to finishing this little portion here. Just finish it, and I did, and I was very happy. This is being stitched on 28 count 2/2 full cross, and I love it. So real quick, I will show what I have done on her so far because the top portion is mostly done except for there's a few back stitching things missing in her hair. I think there's metallic back stitching that's supposed to go in her hair. I am just putting that off because I don't want to do it. I have done some of the beading, which is fabulous. And then yeah, there's just a lot of back stitching that's still missing on the lower portion though. So there she is in all her glory. And I cannot wait to have her finished later this year. And then I think I only have 2 other charts. Yes, 2 other charts. So I will show Tonight We Ride first because this didn't get a ton done on it. So this is Tonight We Ride by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I only did like 100 and some 200 stitches maybe. And here it is. So I finished off this witch here, and then I started working on the tree, and then I just was not feeling like working on this. I think I might actually take a break, but I also, like, I want to finish it. I had thought because there's only like 3,000 stitches left, so part of me is like, just do it. But then another part of me is just like, I don't really want to keep stitching on black right now. So this has been kind of like pushed to the side, even though I do want to have it finished this summer at some point. And so we will see what happens with this. This is being stitched on a fabric called This Is Halloween from Witch's Garden Crafts, which I love this fabric, and I actually really love Witch's Garden Crafts fabric. I have a few pieces at this point. Like my fabric that is for Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio is from Witch's Garden Crafts, and so yeah, I love their fabric. That's the board game stitch along fabric is from Witch's Garden Crafts, which I have not talked about the board game stitch along in a while, and I did not write down the pieces that have come out because I haven't talked about it in a few weeks, and so there has been like probably 3 charts that have came out for it, but I did not write them down, so I can't really talk about them right now. So next video I will make sure I write them all down and we can go over all the board games that have come out that I have not stitched because I'm really behind on that. So the last piece that I have to show though is Autumn Harmony, and she got a lot more stitching on her done this week because I have just been trying to stitch as much as I can on this. So far for June, I think I have already done 4,000 stitches on her. My goal is to do 5,000 in a month, but yeah, I'm already at 4,000 stitches on her. So I'm really just gonna try and see and like how many stitches I can get done on her while I am feeling like stitching on her, you know, because sometimes the mood just strikes, you want to do it, and so yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is just stitch on her as much as possible. So the first area I will show is the area that I was stitching her arm, which you cannot really see a lot of that. So I was stitching the white for her arm, and I finished the white, and so I also had finished the 3865, which means I finished 2 colors in this area. And then I had a hoop here, and then I took the hoop off because I was not wanting to stitch any more light colors. Like, I did 2, and I feel like that was good for this month. And then I went back to the one section where I was filling in the area by her face, and I just worked a lot on that area, and I am super happy with the way that this is turning out. So I've just been picking like a color if there's a blank space, stitching it up, and then once I run out, I just pick another color and I just keep going up that way. And so I think I might actually move the hoop after this video so that I can start getting to some of the stuff that's higher up this way. And then I really just want to keep filling in by her face because I am loving the way that this is turning out. She is being stitched on a 18 count 2/1 full cross, so it does take a little bit longer to stitch on her because it's full cross, but I am really actually enjoying how easy it is to stitch on 18 count. 28 count is sometimes like hard to see, especially at night. You need to have like really good lighting, whereas this is easy to stitch on at all times, so that's very nice. So I'm really happy with this, and I'm looking forward to working on her more in the next week. So that is all that I have though for this video. In the next week, the things that I will be working on is I will keep working on the weekend, I will be working on my Disneyland map piece again because I did not meet the whip go goal yet. I think I need to do like 500 stitches because I only did 500 last time. I will be working on my Game of Thrones pieces because it's Game of Thrones season for me, House of the Dragon, and then I will also be working on Autumn Harmony. So if you would like to see my progress on those pieces, come back for my next update video, which will be next week. Thank you all for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Bye!